So in my last video, I don't know if you see it or not, but if it didn't, you can go and check it out right here. I spoke about how the racial and political divide within Trinidad literally taking precedence over the larger war that literally brewing in the Caribbean waters. It reached a point where nobody asking any other questions or placing blame on anybody else other than the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. For what reason, I don't know. The government of Venezuela literally named her persona non grata, addressing her and making threats to her only, and leaving President Trump totally out of the equation. When just today, we had the 16th airstrike on our vessel in Caribbean waters. This is the topic I want to talk about today. One of the airstrikes that took place claimed the lives of 2 Trinidadian nationals. And in the wake of that happening, just a couple of weeks later, both families took a lawyer and they are now giving the government 30 days to acquire some legal information for them. They're putting this on the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago again. Nobody asking nobody else or blaming nobody else. She wasn't responsible for the airstrikes, and the lawyer in question requesting that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago get access to CIA and DEA files for the case. How? Make these things make sense. Make what? So on screen right now, I have a report that was done by a news reporter in Trinidad. So let me go ahead and read this. Attorneys representing 2 men believed to have been killed in a US strike on a boat in the Southern Caribbean are requesting information from the state in relation to the incident, which includes details from the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and the Drug Enforcement Agency, the DEA. If it was simple to make a request as a Trinidadian national to the DEA and the CIA to get files from them on an airstrike that they do, why you don't lobby to them? Why you didn't write to them? Why you didn't give them 30 days like you're giving the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? How do you expect the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago to get access to DEA and CIA files from America? I'm not asking a stupid question, right? Because I am supposedly more uneducated than a lawyer. A lawyer know the law, he know what he's doing. How the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is supposed to get access to DEA and CIA files in 30 days or less? Is Pizza Hut? Anyway, let me read some more. They also want particulars of Prime Minister Prasad Bissasa's meeting with the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in September. Why? What relevance that had to anything? In a nutshell, they want 8 classified items. And they gave the 3 officials that they send the letter to 30 days to come up with that stuff for them. And this request is keeping with Section 15 of the FOIA Act, which mandates a decision within 30 days of submission. Now, again, I am not a lawyer. I don't know nothing about this. I just reporting what the reports say here, right? And even the report made by somebody else. We just going over what's going on. The local part I understand. If you're requesting files from within Trinidad and that act make it illegal for 30 days, I understand that. But when you're requesting files from the DEA and the CIA in 30 days or less and expect the Prime Minister and the members of the government to provide that to you somehow, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that is possible. If anybody know the legal process about that, leave it in the comment section below. Educate us, please. I really want to know how this could be possible to ask the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago to request files from the DEA and the CIA. I am lost. I want to highlight this part here. The men were supposedly returning to Trinidad from Venezuela. Let me talk about that for a second. You're saying that Joseph, who nicknamed Chapo, is a fisherman, right? It is illegal for a Trinidadian vessel to fish in Venezuelan waters. You say it's coming from Venezuela. So let me scratch the fishing in Venezuela waters part, right? You're coming from Venezuela. What he do in Venezuela for? One is a fisherman, one is a father of 3. Venezuelans living in Trinidad illegally right now to try and get away from Venezuela. The economic state, the violence, whatever. What business did these 2 men had to conduct in Venezuela, that they were leaving Venezuela on a pirogue, not a yacht, not a big vessel, a pirogue with 400 horsepower engines in it. Let me call Jack and spade a spade now. Come now, please. Let me not beat around the bush with our own local politics. I all for getting all where you want. The lawyer. I all for that. Let me give this a thorough investigation. But let me also investigate what these men were doing. That is only fair, right? That is only fair. You want all these files to say that the airstrike itself was illegal and it wasn't written. I all for that. If it was illegal, if it was unconstitutional, whatever it was, let me figure out that also. But at the same time, we need to figure out what these fellows was doing in Venezuela. If you want to dig this hole deeper, we have to dig it all the way through. We can't only dig on one side. We had to figure out what they were doing and whether it was legal or not. So that will in turn say whether or not, even if the airstrike was a legal airstrike, they kill innocent citizens. We need to do that. Otherwise, what are we doing? Let me break down this part, right? Let me break down this part. The FOIA applicant believes the statements of the Honorable Prime Minister reflects a troubling national ethos, one that appears to now tolerate and even encourage the taking of a life in the name of order. Let me break down that. The reason why I stand by what she said, and no matter, you see, everybody just feels it's a political thing in Trinidad, a race thing in Trinidad. Even if the opposition side said this, I would stand with them firmly. We create a society for a reason, and society has rules and regulations that every member of society need to follow to stay a member of society. If you live outside those rules of society, you don't deserve a place in society. It's simple. We have been living by these rules for centuries. Our society needs to keep these rules intact. If one person doing something that is responsible for harming not one, not two, drugs affect so much lives. Drugs affects more than just the people who using it life. It affects the family, the person mother, the person father. I'm going outside of the point I'm trying to make. What I'm saying is, if somebody affecting so many lives living out of the societal rules, since the dawn of society, we have put measures to stop these things. A lot of people still don't like it. A lot of people then didn't like it. But the fact of the matter remains, in order to protect the many, the outlier must be held accountable for their actions in whatever way, shape or form that takes. If you think that you could board a pirogue with 400 horsepower engines in the back, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. You create a team, a special ops people who you think capable of doing that with you, and you go ahead. Nobody within the Caribbean was ever able to put a stop or put a handle on the situation. If international intervention is needed, which it is right now, because all the threats that coming to Trinidad, not America doing the airstrikes, right? But all the threats are coming from Venezuela, coming to Trinidad. Meanwhile, President Maduro and the opposition in Trinidad is best of friends, right? We even had an incident not too long ago where on the day that the Venezuelan government named Trinidad's Prime Minister persona non grata, the opposition leader was held up in a meeting with the ambassador of Venezuela at the same time. It have all kind of games playing here. And if this lawyer wants to get to the bottom of things, I am all for it, because if they kill innocent people, they need to be held accountable. But at the same time, we need to dig thoroughly and find out what these fellows was actually doing, whether it was something legally or something illegally. That is only fair. Like I said in the previous video, everything on this channel is my opinion. It's based on the reports that I am seeing, so it's only factual if these things are factual. And as far as the families and the victims go, I honestly hope that they get some sort of closure from the case that about to take place. I hope so. Nobody wants a family to go through this, and it have no excuse for doing this if these guys really were innocent and really were just on a fishing trip. No excuse. But at the same time, we need to figure out everything. We can't just take the family's word for it. What I'm saying is that we need to get to the bottom of all the facts, not just the facts that you requested. I hope you understand that this is my opinion. My opinion was formed based on the reports that I see on the news. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's Jeremy for Them Fellows Reviews, and I'll see everybody in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want, I have a free cancer nutrition ebook in the description down below. I am a stage 4 cancer survivor, and I am also a certified specialist in fitness nutrition and a personal trainer. So if you want to grab this ebook for free, you can go ahead. First link in the description below. Thanks again for watching. It's Jeremy. Later.